Good afternoon, sir. It's a lovely day to be above the dirt, ain't it?
It is, sir. It is. How may we help?
Sir. So I am having a question concerning, basically, can I pause my debt for a car?
Why?
Yes, because one, I believe I can become more mobile, and I like to consider myself a hustler, as I may be able to get a part-time job delivering pizzas, Ubering, DoorDash, that sort of thing. And so, therefore, I can increase my income.
No, you don't have a car?
No, sir. Currently, I do not have a car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would.
Yes, sir.
I would. I mean,
Okay.
basic transportation is that's a starting point.
Yes, sir.
And you can increase your income a lot of different ways if you have just a basic car. You're gonna pause your debt snowball and pile up some cash and pay cash for a car, right?
Yes, sir.
And how much of a car and how long is this going to take?
Yeah. So currently, I have about 14,500 liquid, and I have a 12.
Oh, you aren't doing the debt snowball.
Oh, sir, because my student loan is my only debt currently.
Yeah, but you have $14,000 cash saved.
Yeah, well, I have $14,000 spread across a money market account, savings account, my emergency fund.
Yeah, well, if you were doing the debt snowball, you would have already cashed all that in and thrown it at the debt. So you're not really doing anything yet.
Okay.
So you got $14,000 saved. So how expensive a car are you going to buy?
I'm thinking of getting something that's like a nice sedan, not so much hoopty though. So maybe about 7 to 10 grand, maybe a little bit. 12 max, 12 grand max.
Well, let's think about the price. How much are your student loans? Because that's going to weigh into how much you spend on a car.
Yeah, so I have $12,483 in student loans.
And what do you make a year now?
What I make a year now, I'm working part-time, but I'm soon to be employed at Fidelity, and I will be making $50,000 a year at Fidelity.
Soon to be is when?
Soon to be in June of this year.
All right.
Are you graduating from school?
Yes, sir. I graduated last December.
I see.
So when were you hustling? When was the hustling part? You're working part-time since December?
Oh, no. I was working a full-time job with my church. I was interning at my church full-time.
With no pay?
No. It was paid.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's start again. All right, the baby steps are you have $1,000 in the account. You throw everything else at your debt, smallest to largest, until you're debt-free. Then you build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in baby step 3. Okay, so that's the process you would be using from this point forward. In the midst of that, we need to get you a car. So you currently have $14,000 and $12,000 worth of debt. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, sir.
And you don't go to work until June.
Yes, sir. So currently I'm working just part-time because I don't go to work until June.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So next week, I want you to go to work, like all the time. There's no reason to sit on your butt from now till June.
Okay.
Might as well. What else you doing?
That is a good question.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, let's do that. Because I'm all right, Jade, I'm a little bit torn, okay? I'm kind of thinking $1,000 car and pay off all the debt.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot.
And I'm kind of thinking a $4,000 car and then between now and June pay off the rest of the debt because he works 60 hours a week between now and June at 6 jobs.
I kind of feel like I would go for the cheaper car, pay off the debt, and then when he starts working, he can get something.
By the time, I don't know.
What are you making now? I know you're making part-time, but are you making anything to add to this? What are you making now?
Yes. Currently, I'm making now, I would average out to about $200 a week, so maybe like $800 to $1,000 a month.
All right. I probably wouldn't spend more than $2,000 or $3,000 on a car.
Yeah, let's go with $3,000 and put everything else you own except $1,000. So that's 4 out of your 14. That leaves you 10, and I want that 10 on the debt by the end of the day today.
Okay.
And now you had a student loan debt. Did you have a small something else or just the student loans?
Oh, no, just student loans. No credit cards, anything like that.
Okay. How many loans are there, separate loans?
I believe it's two. It's comprised of 2 loans.
All right. And what are their amounts?
Let me check on that for you, sir. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I told a field. It's all one amount.
It's all one.
Okay. Well, just pay $10,000 against it. That should leave you a balance of about $2,000. That should leave you $3,000 for a car and $1,000 left over in savings for a miniature starter emergency fund. And then you get out there, kick butt, and take names for the next 60 days. Pay that $2,000 off. So by the time you step into the job, you're debt free. Then you finish your emergency fund by the end of the summer of 3 to 6 months of expenses. So it's September, you're driving a $3,000 paid-for car, you have 0 debt and $15,000 in the bank in September. I like your life then. Mm-hmm. But this is the life that a hustler is going to go get, and that means you are working 5 to 6 jobs between now and the time you take this big job because you need money. And that's where you get money.
Mm-hmm.
That making sense?
It's making sense to me. Yeah. I like that plan.
Yeah, and I wouldn't spend it. I mean, and here's the thing. You don't want to drive a $3,000 car very long. So by Christmas, after you finish your emergency fund, I want you to save up and buy you about a $10,000 car.
Yeah.
Because the good news about a $3,000 car is it's not going to go down much in value. It's pretty well done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It might be worth $4,000 by Christmas if you take care of it, if you buy it right, you know? So, yeah, I would buy that and then take that car and put $7,000 cash with it above your emergency fund, be driving a $10,000 car by Christmas, 100% debt-free with $15,000 in savings for emergencies, and we're debt-free. And it's not even been a year at Christmas because this is March.
It's a lot you can do in 8 to 9 months. You can change your life, change your money.
If you're a hustler.
Yeah, but hustler means you're hustling, not just talking about it. You can't just talk about it. You got to do it.
There's that. This is The Ramsey Show. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. You need a partner like Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country, and they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Churchill works with you to build a mortgage the Ramsey way, one that doesn't bust your budget, sets you up for financial success, and helps you get out of debt faster. Go to churchillmortgage.com today and get started. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, you can help us, and many of you have been doing this. We know because our numbers are way up. The other day, we were number 16th on the Apple podcast list of all podcasts in the world, which there are over 2.5 million of them. And our guys in our marketing team are really upset that we're only 16th. They think we ought to be in the top 10.
I agree.
I think 16's working for us, though, so I'm good with that. But actually, that's moving. We're moving on up, as they say.
Yes.
And so, but you guys here, if you want to help us out and say thank you for the service that this show provides to your life, we would appreciate it. It's real simple. Share it with someone. click the share button or share a link or just tell somebody where you heard about it. And you can subscribe, click the follow, the subscribe button, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a YouTube, whatever it is. And you can leave a 5-star review. 1 stars aren't helpful. Your mother said if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So just go with Mom's advice and leave a 5-star review. They're helpful. All 3 of those things together actually do move the needle, and
Absolutely.
it causes the algorithms to push the show forward as a suggested item in people's, how these things magically appear that you were thinking about? Yeah, well, we're one of those.
Yes.
And so that's our biggest, because we're not like spending so much money on marketing that we have our own stadium.
Right. I know some banks that do that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, excuse me, I got allergies. But I didn't spend $300 million on marketing like somebody, and so instead, you guys have to tell people about us because you're like our marketing engine. So help us out. And that's a way you can say thank you to do that. So thanks for hanging out. All right, Carly's with us in Montgomery, Alabama. Hey, Carly, how can we help?
Hey, Dave. And I agree, y'all should be in the top 10, absolutely.
All right.
My question,
we got Carly's vote. Somebody tell Apple Carly said, okay?
My question is, should my husband and I cancel the whole life insurance policy that we have?
I think
I know the answer.
Well, we do suggest term life insurance, but I would make sure that the term life insurance is in place for both of you before you cancel your whole life policies. So have you already gotten with somebody like Xander to price it out and get it in place?
Did you say Vander?
Yeah.
This is Xander Insurance. Is who we recommend for term insurance and have for 25 years. They got the best prices on the planet.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay, I'm taking notes. And no, we have term life. We have it through the same person that we have
the whole life. What's the company?
Correct. It's the Northwestern Mutual.
Okay. All right. Cool. So here's what you're going to find out.
The only reason we have it is because we personally know.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's the only reason you would buy that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And we eventually, want to do real estate, which I know that's also, Dave, how you made some of your money was in real estate, and it sounded great. But here it is a year later, and they're wanting us to pay $8,000 again, which we didn't realize that was an annual payment of $8,000. We've already paid that one time, and it's due again at the end of the month.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to get number one. When you go to Xander, you're going to find that Northwestern Mutual is one of the most expensive whole life companies out there. One of the worst ones, translation, and their term insurance is as bad as their whole life. So you're going to be able to cut your cost for the same exact policy on the term probably in half. Your term insurance is super expensive term insurance too. Okay, but we need to get that in place because I don't want one of you to die with no insurance because you cancel all your policies and then it takes 3 months to get your new ones in place, right? Car wreck happens in the interim. Little kids are hungry. I don't like that plan.
Okay, number one, start new policy.
New policy, Xander, Zander, insurance.com. Go there. It'll get you a quick, easy quote. When you get the quote back, you're going to go, Dadgum, Ramsey. Yeah, okay, so there you go. And you should have a good rule of thumb is 10 to 12 times your income on you, 10 to 12 times your husband's income on him. What do you make?
I make 47 roughly before side hustles.
I want you to price 500 and 600 on you at 15-year level fixed. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Good. It's going to be the cost of a pizza.
Yeah, super cheap.
It's really cheap. And just put it on a monthly plan and just pay it monthly, okay? It's real easy. It comes out of your checking account, goes right in your budget. Now, what's your husband make?
45.
Okay. So same thing. So let's say we put 600 on him. Let me show you how this works, all right? This is why we do this. It's important to not do it because I said do it, but important otherwise, that you understand.
Okay.
So $600,000 invested in good mutual funds. The stock market has averaged 11.8% since it began. So if you get an average rate of return or less, let's make it round so it's real easy on the radio, $600,000, let's say that you made 10% on that. Your husband died died, you got $600,000, you put it in a mutual fund, it makes 10%, and that makes you get an income of 10% of $600,000. Does that sound like $60,000 a year to you, Carly?
Honestly, it kind of went over my head.
Okay, $600,000.
I'm trying to follow.
That's okay.
I'm a visual person.
$600,000 on your husband, and he passes away. The insurance company sends you a check for $600,000. You take that check, put it in mutual funds with a SmartVestor Pro because you listen to this show. Okay?
Okay.
If the mutual funds made 10% a year, 10% of 600,000 is 60,000. Did we do it that time? Did we make it?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. So if you got $60,000 a year coming in and the 600,000 didn't move, they're just sending you the income off of it, you get that forever. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
So your husband's income that was lost when he passed away in our bad story here has been replaced with a $60,000 income from investments because you had the proper amount of term insurance in place.
Okay.
Did that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Because that's the purpose of it, is to replace it and not eat it up. So it just sits there and runs. It's just the goose that's laying a golden egg every year that's $60,000. And so I try to not buy too much life insurance. I don't want to be worth more dead than alive, because then I have to sleep with one eye open with Sharon Ramsey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to get 600 on you, 600 on him, or 500, right in there, that range, for that reason. When that's in place, you'll want to drop that other stuff. By the way, if you don't pay the $8,000 payment, it'll take them 60 to 90 days to get around to canceling you, minimum of 30 days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now,
how much is your term insurance currently? How much is your current term insurance? Not how much coverage is it?
I don't know. I want to say maybe $1 million for both of us.
Of term?
$1 million each, or 500 and 500?
No, 500. I think 500 and 500.
Right.
Well, that sounds like the proper amount, and all you're going to end up doing is replacing that because you're going to find it's too expensive.
Okay.
You're going to find, again, you're going to be able to do that 500 and 500 for a lot less than you're paying now, assuming they have a 15-year term and you're comparing apples to apples. But that's what you need to do right there, kiddo.
That's a good point you made, Dave. I think a lot of people don't realize that the purpose of life insurance is to replace income, because I know I've talked to a lot of folks in our FPU class and they say, oh, I've got insurance through my work. And for most people, it's not enough to cover a loss of income.
1 year of income.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So check your insurances, make sure you're covered to the right amount. Check with Xander Insurance.
It's just not that much.
It's really not.
I mean, it's not a lot of money to put $500K on a 25-year-old.
Especially when you're healthy.
Yeah. And man, if something happens, it's a big deal.
Peace of mind.
You're just irresponsible to be out there walking around without it. So people, get this stuff in place. This is the Ramsey Show.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you are here. Hey, with debt payments out there at an all-time high, do you know credit card debt's at an all-time high? Car debt is at an all-time high. Student loan debt is at an all-time high. I wish one of these would fail to be at an all-time high, but none of them have so far. You people continue to keep us employed. I'm just saying. I mean, like me and Jenny Craig, we got a big job. I'm just
Job security.
There's a lot to do here. Debt payments are everywhere. And now with inflation being out of control and other stuff happening all over the culture, more and more of your paycheck being stolen, well, you shouldn't have to live with this kind of stress. If you want to change, and something does need to change, you know that, you have to have that moment where you say, I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. If you've had that moment and you are really ready to go through the pain of changing to stop the pain of this financial anxiety, then you need the opposite of financial anxiety, and that's called Financial Peace University. It's our 9-lesson, 9-week course that'll teach you how to beat debt, build wealth, and become outrageously generous. It's everything you wish you'd learned about how to handle money. Nearly 10 million people have taken Financial Peace University. If you're ready to change, we can help. I can't make you do it, but I can show you how if you're ready. Financial Peace University, RamseySolutions.com/FPU. RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Julie's next in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Julie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So my husband and I are working on the steps, and we are on step 2, and now we're ready we differ a little bit on our viewpoints as far as what we should do next. So we're both 50 years old, and I want to focus any extra money on any of our debts or all of our debts, the credit cards and such. And he has just started a job that now has the opportunity for some retirement funds. And he does not have any sort of retirement or pensions up to this point. So he wants to focus all the extra money he can into building a retirement fund for himself.
Oh, okay. So you didn't really tell us accurately then. You said, my husband and I are wanting to work the baby steps, because the truth is you are wanting to work the baby steps. He's not.
Yeah, you guys are not on the same page.
Right.
Yeah, you're wanting to be baby step 2, everything in on getting out of debt, because when you get out of debt, then you've got plenty of money to put money into retirement. And yeah, you got some catching up to do at 55, but you can do it. Mm-hmm. But the fastest way to do it is get out of debt. So you're ready to do it. He's wanting to do his plan.
Yes.
Hey,
so I guess, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are you guys combining your money? The way you talked about your retirement, you said I heard you say his retirement and his. I just want to see where you guys are in that area.
So basically, he is giving me some towards the bills at this point, and I'm finally getting him with the idea of, you have to let me take over because he struggles with it.
Nope.
So
both are wrong. You're both wrong.
Yeah. You guys need to overhaul this entire situation, because the fact of the matter is you're not on the same page. You want to do this. He wants to do something else. You guys are not sharing your money. You're on separate game plans. Thing 1 is getting united on just marriage, which in this case involves your money. And I'm wondering for you, if you were to speak to him and say, hey, I talked to some knuckleheads on the radio today, and they said that we need to combine our finances. That's step 1. What would he say to that? And what do you say to that?
I'm game for it. We had done that in the past, and we were fine with it. I managed paying the bills. I kept him informed of everything. Mm-hmm. He, with starting a new job, he has kind of gone a bit overboard on spending and opened up a bunch of new credit cards. And I do feel like he's just gotten embarrassed as to where he is at this point.
No, he should be, so that's good. And now he's
gotten where he can't handle it.
Yeah, when I do stuff stupid, it embarrasses me too. So I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what he's doing is wrong. Of course he's embarrassed. Of course he feels foolish because he's been foolish. That'll make you feel foolish, being foolish. I've done it. I know. So here's the thing. Let's back up 3 steps, like we said, and like Jade said, and reset. So number one, the advice we're giving you is not theory. We've done this with millions of people and have led people to become millionaires and retire with dignity with a paid-for house. Let's just say that's the goal, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say that by 70, you're a millionaire and you have a paid-for house. That's our goal. What is the fastest, right way to get there? Okay? That's the question you and your husband both need to answer. Now, we have proven by teaching and walking with thousands and millions of families now that the fastest right way to get there is a process that we call the baby steps, where you first save $1,000 in baby step 1. Baby step 2 is you pay off all of your debts except your home, and because your most powerful wealth building tool is your income, and when you give it all to Ford Motor Company and MasterCard, you don't have it anymore, they do. And so you have to stop giving your money away to these idiots that are taking your money, but you gave it to them, so you have to stop it. That's called debt reduction, right? We're getting out of debt. Now, when you don't have any debt payments but your house anymore, that'll feel pretty good, won't it? Ask him that. And I'm asking you that, Julie. That'll feel good, won't it? Say yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the credit cards that he just took out, we're going to have a little plastic surgery party by candlelight tonight. Chop those puppies up. A plastectomy at Julie's house, okay? Now, once we're out of debt, we build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then we start saving 15% of our household income into retirement. If you do that, if you follow that, how much debt do you have? Not counting your house.
Not counting the house, we're at about $121,000.
On what?
Credit cards and a truck payment for him.
How much do you owe on his truck?
$20,000.
And what's your household income?
Well, $100,000.
Okay. Got a lot of truck.
Yeah, he got it new.
So part of this is this 55-year-old little boy's going to grow up and be a man now and put his future in his sights and not his weekend. That's part of what's going on here. This guy, the way you have described him in this call, he just goes and does whatever the flip he wants as if there's no consequences. And then he's embarrassed. Okay, so now we got to stop this and we got to undo a bunch of it. Now, then the last part of this whole story is the two of you are going to decide together every month before the month begins on paper, on purpose, where every dollar is going to go to accomplish the goals in those baby steps so that we can retire with a paid-for house and $1 million. And if we are saying that's the goal and whatever we've got to do to get to that goal, that means we're going to sell everything in sight. We're not going to see the inside of a restaurant unless we're working there. We're not going on vacation because we're broke people. We're 55 years old and $120,000 in debt and no money and scared about retirement, and we're going to do something about it. And that's just who you become. And the two of you together join arms and say, we're going to be grown-ups. It's not, thank God it's Friday, oh God, it's Monday. It's we're going to retire 15 years from now with some dadgum money because we changed our lives. Now, if you're ready to do that, Julie, I can help you. That's what we do. But if you're going to keep playing around, playing footsie with this, and he's going to keep running around like a weekend little boy, Huey Lewis in the news, living for the weekend, not going to work for me. I can't help you. But if you want to do all this stuff, we'll put you through Financial Peace University. You hold on. You can tell Austin if you want to do it. We'll pay for you to go through the class. You and your husband that I just picked on. This is The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Hey, if you are a brand new listener, and as we have said, there are many of you out there that are brand new, we appreciate that. And if you want to learn how this Ramsey stuff works, some of this inside baseball where we're saying stuff like baby steps and we're saying things like debt snowballs and all that stuff, go to RamseySolutions.com, click on the Get Started button, and we'll help you figure out the next best step in your financial journey. We'll let you know where you are in the baby steps and what you do from here, exactly what to do. RamseySolutions.com, click Get Started. Jade, it is worth you and I taking a moment and explaining that the thing that we have discovered at Ramsey 30 years ago that has made all the difference in the world in people's lives is not the tactical what to do with money stuff. It's the understanding that personal finance is 80% behavior.
Yes.
20% head knowledge. The mathematics of becoming a multimillionaire are learned by the 6th grade. Spend less than you make.
Oh, Dave. I mean, that requires self-control.
Ta-da! Yeah, so the problem is the guy in my mirror.
Yeah.
If I can control this goober, he can be skinny and rich. But goober has a problem. His name is Dave. And, you know, you guys gotta figure that out, because that's the bad news. The bad news is I'm the problem. The great news is I'm the solution.
Yeah.
It's a decision.
Yeah.
You just have to decide you want to do something different, because you kind of already know what to do. We'll give you the fine tuning and we'll show you but we don't sell magic beans here. Jack is not here.
Yeah.
Dave's here.
You have to do the work. There's no easy button to push on this. There's no magic pill, like you said. You're going to have to look at what you're doing. And if you want a different situation, you're going to have to do something different. If you want to experience change, you're going to have to change your habits. That's how it works. You can't just keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get the same result. And what I love about how we teach money is they are very simple concepts, Dave. Very simple. Live on less than you make.
Yeah,
Get on a written plan.
And they're countercultural.
Absolutely.
Because most people spend more than they make.
Yes.
Get out of debt and stay out of debt. That's countercultural, because most people believe you have to have debt to win. And actually the data says, and 30 plus years of doing this, leading more people into millionaire status than anybody else, tells me and tells you and tells us at Ramsey that the proper way to do this is get out of debt, because your most powerful wealth building tool is your income.
Yeah.
And so you've got to pay a price to win. You got to live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. There's a price to be paid to get out of the mess that you made.
Yeah. And let us be like you said, it is countercultural, because everything out there is telling you to be reliant on something else. The credit system is telling you, you need credit. You need us. You can't exist in this world without us. And the government tells us the same thing. You need us. You can't exist in this world and pay off your debts. You need us. Everything is giving us the message that we cannot be reliant upon our own volition. You know, we can't handle our money ourselves. We can't do anything on our own. And that's completely false. You actually do have control over how you spend your money. You actually do have control over the decisions that you make. That's false.
Part of it is whether you're 25 or whether you're 55 is growing up.
Absolutely.
And one definition of maturity is the ability to delay pleasure. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good.
Yep.
And I don't care how old you are. If all you do is go on your feelings, then you're a child.
Absolutely.
You have to say, all right, there's a destination over here. What has to be true that is not true today, so that I'm that person over there instead of the person I am right now?
Come on. That you are preaching to the choir right now, because some of you know my story and some of you don't. My husband Sam and I had $500,000 in debt, for lack of a better word, $460,000 of debt. And I distinctly remember the moment, Dave, where I thought, if we don't do something about this, I will never have any of the things that I wanted out of life.
Yeah.
financially
it's
with
pretty
the family.
Okay. I want to be 20. I want to be 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Is this a wish or is this a goal?
Right.
If it's a goal, then you say, all right, when do I want to be 30 pounds lighter? All right. When? 3 months from now. Okay. Now we have a goal. Now, then you have to ask yourself, okay, what has to be true that's not true now? And in my case, it's less donuts, fat boy. I mean, get away from the chocolate donuts, boy. Because the guy that's got a six-pack and I got a keg, he's not doing the donuts.
No, he's not.
So you gotta, okay, something has to change, and I gotta like the idea of being thinner more than I like the instantaneous gratification and sugar rush of a chocolate-covered, oh my God, I want one donut, right?
Well, practically for us, it was, you don't make enough money, so you need to earn more money.
What has to be true that's not true now? I need more money.
I care too much about what other people think, so I'm buying stuff I can't afford to impress these people. Got to change that.
I'm trying to drag along a spouse who's not going along with this. My spouse keeps running off and doing this other crap, and I'm trying to do this. Well, what has to be true? What has to be true is you guys got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
Because that's a key data point in people who win with money. They control their behaviors. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children, well, I deserve a new car. Call the ambulance. Seriously, children do what feels good. Now, I've been both probably today, but certainly in my life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are times there's a higher, more noble Dave, and then there are times it's, I just want one, Don't tell me I can't do it. I deserve it. I work hard. Oh, shut up. Like nobody else works hard but you.
Right.
I deserve to be deeply in debt and get a truck I can't afford because I work hard. What, you work hard so you deserve to be broke? I don't understand. How dumb a butt statement is that? But people say stupid butt stuff like that, right? It's crazy. So you've got to look out there and say, what am I willing to become so that I am that person over there?
Yeah.
What am I willing to give up? What has to be true that's not true today? We have to be working together. We have to be living on less than we make. We have to be doing a written budget. We have to be cutting up the credit cards. We have to be getting rid of the whole life policy. We're selling the stupid car we can't afford.
Yeah.
We're not going on vacation. We're not going to go out to eat every night. We're freaking broke people. We're not doing this anymore. And you start talking to yourself and going, but not for long.
Yeah.
Not for long. As for me and my house, we're not going to live like this. We're going to live like no one else so that later, you know where I eat out now? Any dadgum place I want to. You know how I read the menu now? From the left to the right. I don't start with the price. I start with what I freaking want to eat. You know why? Because I did all this stuff for the last 30 years and it works.
Come on, Dave. Be honest. You don't even have to look to the right.
I don't.
You don't even have to, you just look at it.
The only time I do is on the wine because some of it's really expensive. But
oh man, I love it. I can go on and on about this conversation because it's true. And the thing is, you've got to find and look inside and find the reason why. If you don't know why, you're not going to try. Period. You're going to start it and you're going to go, I heard this guy on the radio, Dave, and I heard Jay talking, and you get all excited about it. But then when the rubber meets the road, you don't do it.
You quit.
You have to.
Let me tell you, you're going to get tired.
Yeah.
And you're going to be scared. And you're going to get dirt under your fingernails because you work so much. So that later, you don't have to.
Yep. And it changes you.
Where you want to be working extra jobs when you're 70 or when you're 27.
Okay.
Because social insecurity is not going to cut it, baby.
I know, right?
You talk about too much month at the end of the money, broke old people living on Social Security. This ain't fun. Won't you sign up for a different trip, boys and girls? It's all about you, the person in your mirror. You can do it. We believe in you, and we'll hold you to it. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. This is the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Jason is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon, Jade and Dave. So my financial plan has ADD. I'm kind of all over the place with my baby steps.
Why?
Well, I've been listening to you guys for a number of years. I follow you online. I haven't actually signed up for Financial Peace, but I did register to become a coordinator. We paid off our basic debt. We paid off our car debt. We have our emergency fund. We have our 3 to 6 months in savings. So I think we're on 4, 5, and 6, and then we just kind of went, okay, we're good.
You have no debt at all except your house.
Well, you're going to yell at me. I have $2,000 in credit card debt that we not roll over, but our monthly expense. But
no, wait. Were you listening? Okay.
I was.
Dave, okay, so you already got yelled at a little bit. For those listening,
I will get yelled at, yes.
For those listening to the past segment, we yelled at some folks. But here's the thing, Jason. You said you're a longtime listener. You said you understand the program. You're choosing to do something different. You're choosing to work your own plan, but you called us, and I'm going to tell you to cut up the credit cards, and I'm also going to look at you with a smart look on my face and wonder why you are doing that.
Honestly, the way it started for years, I was cash only before your show. And then we weren't in a position where we wanted to pay cash for a car because it would have cut too much into our savings. And we had no credit. So
okay, I'm sorry. Let's stop a second. Let's stop a second. Stop. Whoa. Stop. Okay, I've heard about your plan, and you know about our plan. What's your question?
Yeah. So the question is, outside of my $2,000 credit card debt for the monthly bill, I'm somewhere between steps 4, 5, and 6.
No, you're not.
And I'm just trying to figure out the best way to navigate.
You're not working this plan.
You're not working the baby steps. But what's your question then?
Okay.
What's your question?
Okay, so you want me to pay off the credit card debt?
No, what is your question?
Roll in the steps 4, 5, and 6?
I want you to tell me what your question is. Are you asking what baby step you're on?
In my head, I think I'm in baby step 4.
You're in baby step 2.
You're in baby step 4 of your head. But you have a different plan of baby steps than we do. So, no, you're in baby step 2. You still have credit card debt, and you still have credit cards. So you still have consumer debt. 100% debt-free with no credit cards and debit cards in your pocket that you use your money is baby step 2. And you're not there, okay? And it's inconvenient to pay cash for my car because I don't want to limit my savings is your plan, not a millionaire plan. Not a wealthy person plan, a middle-class person's plan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave money in savings at 3 to 5% and borrow money to buy a car at 8 to 12%. Well, that's a freaking genius move. I mean, so what you've got to decide, Jason, is, and it's okay, we're not going to be mad at you, but don't walk around telling people that you're on a baby step because you're not doing any of it. You're doing your deal. And one of my friends who's a wealthy guy that still had been playing around with debt and stuff, I was actually speaking at an event, and he and I ended up having lunch after the event in another city. And he said, I finally did all your stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you did all my stuff? Because you ain't done nothing, I said.
Right.
We've been friends a long time, and you've been stupid the whole time I've known you. And he goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, I said, man, it's okay. I still love you. You're still my friend, but you don't do our stuff. And he goes, no, I really do. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I did it all. I'm 100% debt free. I've got my emergency fund. Matter of fact, I'm paying off my house. I paid off my house 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And so he's baby step 7, right? He did it all. And I said, what changed? And he goes, well, I finally had to submit myself to the process that you laid out because I kept thinking I could figure it out faster than you could. And I forgot that you're the guy on this.
Yeah.
And he goes, and oh, by the way, when you're doing the stuff in my world, you're going to submit yourself to my way because I'm the expert there. And I'm like, I'm in.
Smart guy.
In, I mean, but you have to, you got to find a proven thing and then do the thing, not ish it.
I mean,
ish is a wish.
Dave, you're on the radio. We're on the radio. What was it? Number 16 show. Financial expert. And when I'll talk about myself from before I got here. I listened to you and I listened to the other personalities because I'm like, they're in that position. They understand money. I'm a lay person. I'm just trying to scratch and claw my way. Do I really think that I've got a better method, or am I going to go for the folks that have helped millions of other people do it?
And if you do, it's okay. Go do that. Go do that. It's okay. We don't have to be mad about it. I'm not mad about it. But here's the thing. If you want to do the stuff we're talking about, do it. Yeah. And it'll work. It's a proven process. Screwing around with it and ishing it. I'm Ramsey-ish.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, Jason. It doesn't work, my brother.
I do get a little salty,
you
though,
and I
Dave.
be friends, and you keep your car payment and your credit cards, and we'll still be friends, and I'll just be your rich friend. And
I get a little frustrated with it, Dave. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it is frustrating, but it's just, but the frustration is not because of like we're insulted. Frustration is because we love you, folks.
Yeah,
we love you. We want you to win. We want you to do better.
Yeah.
And we want you to turn the corner on this stuff. And so, but it's like a lot of things in life. Have you ever had a friend that was, trying to quit drinking or trying to quit misbehaving, and you wanted it for them more than they wanted it for them?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating part because we see it and we know and we get it. And
welcome to the Ramsey Show. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, because we love you. But everybody's got stupid people that they love. I mean, we all do. And I'm the stupid people that other people love.
I was about to say,
I'm on the other end of that in some cases. I love Dave, but he's crazier than a bean. It's okay. That's all right. I'm good with that.
Not a bean.
We don't have to be mad about it. We don't have to troll somebody about it or something like that. It's just a matter of, are you going to do this stuff? It's like I hired a personal trainer and he's got a six-pack, I got a keg, right? And I'm like, and he tells me what I need to eat. Now, if I don't eat what he says, then I'm not going to look like him.
Well, that is one thing to not eat what he says, but don't sit there and argue with him about it.
I'm actually a nutrition specialist. Check out this belly. It proves it.
Right. Some of the folks come on here and they rip off their shirt.
Obviously, I have taken in more food than you, so I know more than you. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Our question of the day, sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Don't wait until the AC or other home systems go out this summer. Neighborly is your key to staying on top of your home maintenance needs. Don't wait on emergencies. Find reliable home service providers like AirServe, Mr. Appliance, and Mr. Rooter Plumbing, lots of others at neighborly.com. Keeps your house running like clockwork.
Today's question of the day comes from Harry in Georgia. He says, I have a budget in place and I'm using the debt snowball. Would you recommend consolidating all of the debt into one giant personal loan? I also have a total of $50,000 between 5 credit cards, a personal loan, and an appliance loan. I also have a ton of equity in my home, so I was wondering about doing a home equity loan, which could give me tax savings on the interest. Should I just keep it status quo for now and continue the snowball, or do debt consolidation loan? Overall, I'm just looking to expedite debt elimination. All right, so the debt snowball, I would not call status quo. I think that it is the most effective way to pay off debt. And it's been proven. There's been some studies. I know Harvard published a paper about why the debt snowball actually works and that it works. It's the most successful way to pay off debt. So I would not recommend, Harry, doing a consolidation or a HELOC. And it sounds like you're just like trying to think of ways to get this debt out of your life. And again, there's no easy button. You're going to have to list your debts from smallest to largest and work to pay this off. If you do a debt consolidation loan, there's a couple of things there. You're not paying it off. You're just clumping it all together, moving it all together. And actually, there's studies that show that when you do that, your brain thinks that you have less debt and you go back into debt again because you've moved it all into one payment. You haven't actually paid it off. Not to mention, when it comes to debt consolidation, they're doing for you what you can do yourself. They're making deals with these companies. You can do that yourself. You can set up payment schedules. You can do all of that yourself. You don't have to pay somebody to do it for you. And a lot of times the interest rate when you get debt consolidation is no better because it's based on your credit. And if you have ruined credit, then you're not going to have a better credit rate on that debt consolidation loan anyway, a better interest rate. So I wouldn't do that. And then talking about the HELOC, again, you're just moving debt and now you're moving it into your home mortgage. So you really want to put your home on the hook for your debt. I would not do that. Home equity line of credit is what he's talking about for somebody who's listening the first time and you don't understand what that is. It's basically a line of credit that you pull out on your home, and he wants to use that to pay off his debt. A terrible idea. You're not paying it off. You're just moving it into your mortgage. Not a good idea. Let's use the debt snowball. Again, list your debt smallest to largest, make minimum payments on all of the debt, and then take any and all extra money that you can and throw it at the smallest debt until it's paid off. Gotta go quickly, gotta use intensity for this. And then when that smallest debt is paid off, the money's freed up and you throw it on the next smallest debt. And then you do that again. And before you know it, you've got a nice snowball going, and that is how you pay off debt. And let me tell you something, you wanna do that. You need to do it smallest to largest so that you feel those wins, Harry, because when you feel the win of paying off that smallest debt, you're going to be like, wait a minute, I can do this. This works. And then you're going to go to the next one and you feel that motivation once you begin starting and once you start feeling the momentum that comes with the snowball. So just do it. Just walk yourself through the process. You're going to be better for it. You're going to allow yourself to feel the pain of your debt. When you do the snowball, you feel it. Because you have to work to make it happen. You're not just rolling it into some other loan. You're not rolling it into your mortgage. You're not taking the easy way out.
Harry, the thing you got to remember is this. You have a block of debt that's $50,000. If that block of debt is a debt consolidation loan, it's still $50,000. If that block of debt is a HELOC, it's still $50,000. There's only one way to get rid of $50,000. Pay $50,000. Mm-hmm. There is none of these programs. All they do is lower the amount of interest, and interest is not your problem. Spending more than you make is your problem. Not increasing your income enough to throw at the $50,000 is your problem. You need to come up with $5,000 a month for 10 months because you work so much that you can't breathe. Great place to go when you're broke, to work.
Ooh.
The interest rate on your HELOC is versus the interest rate on your debt snowball is not going to fix the problem.
No.
You need $50,000. That's the problem. You're concentrating on the wrong end of the iceberg. The interest is just sticking up above the water. There's a big iceberg below the surface. Mm-hmm. It's $50,000. That's the problem. And I want to write off the interest as having a HELOC. You're not writing off the interest. You don't write off the interest on a HELOC. You know why? Only 13% of Americans itemize. 87% take the standard deduction.
Ooh, good point.
So you probably are taking a standard deduction, which means you don't get to write off the interest because you already took your standard deduction. Mm-hmm. If you are one of the 13% who itemize, you probably are not itemizing this anyway, and it's not that big a deal. I mean, the interest, let's say it's 10% on $50,000, it's $5,000. You know what that saves you in taxes? $1,250. $1,250 isn't your problem.
Right.
$50,000 is your problem. Quit trying to trick your way out of this. Mm-hmm. Come up with $50,000. That's how you do it. And the debt snowball leads you through that process and keeps you moving. But you've got to concentrate. You need $5,000 a month extra for 10 months or $2,500 a month extra for 20 months. And that gets rid of your problem. Not a little bit of savings on interest or some faux tax write-off that you're not even really taking because you're taking a standard deduction. That's what's really going on. Tara's in Kalamazoo. Hi, Tara. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks, Dave and Jay, for taking my call.
Certainly. How can we help?
My husband and I are about 35, and we have one kid and one on the way. We have about $200,000 left on our mortgage, which is at a 2.375% rate. It was originally a 15-year. We have 12 left on it. We have no other debts, about $60,000 in cash. We have about $500,000 in investments with one 401k that we max out each year. We have $140,000 in short-term treasuries like I-bonds and T-bills.
How much was your mortgage again?
It originally was about $240,000.
No, what is it today?
We have $200,000 left.
And you have $140,000 in I-bonds and $60,000 laying around in cash?
Yes.
Why do you still have a mortgage?
Well, that's what my question is around is should we, like we've seen rates climb, right, with treasuries about 5% now. So we're curious if we should take advantage of our current position, thinking something low duration like a 17-week T-bill and put like all of our $200,000.
You're not making any money on that stuff.
If I were you, I would be mortgage free today.
You're not making any money on that stuff. You need to roll out the actual math that you're talking about here and how many dollars it results in. It's not spit. You're not getting wealthy with this.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually take $140,000 and multiply it times that. I mean, you can't even go out to eat. It's not real money. You're just playing a math game. You're trying to do this with intellect. And if you actually run out the nominal dollars that are the resulting here, you're not arbitraging your house into T-bills and making any spread. It's the difference is a joke mathematically. I mean, it's a couple $1,000. It's not going to make you rich. You're playing games with stuff that's not going to make you rich. You can pay off your house today. That'll make you rich.
Yeah. Keep some money aside for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months of expenses and emergencies, no other debt, and liquidate everything that's non-retirement and pay this house off this week. That's what I would do. Mm-hmm. Definitely not borrowing on my home to invest in T-bills. This is The Ramsey Show. We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Angie's in San Bernardino. Hi, Angie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Miss Jade. Hey, Mr. Ramsey. What an honor to talk to you both. Thank you so much for taking our call today.
Our pleasure. How can we help?
Okay, so I'm hoping you can help us out. My beautiful husband and I cannot agree what to do with a rental property that we have. My hubby is pretty concerned about the capital gains and the recapture of depreciation that we would have to pay if we sell it. And I, on the other hand, I think it's a really good time to sell. And I think this money would change our lives. We would pay off our home. We would invest a little more in our Roths and maybe do a small home renovation. And eventually, like you mentioned before, you read the menu from left to right. I can't wait to get there. So we are humbly asking for your opinion. I should disclose something, and no pressure, okay? No pressure at all. But he did say that if you said that we sell, that he's going to sell. So go ahead and tell him to sell. No, I'm kidding.
I think we've been set up, Jade.
So the only reason he doesn't want to sell is simply to avoid those capital gains. It's not because he just loves the property and wants to hold on to it and loves the cash flow?
No, the cash flow is very, very low, unfortunately, less than $500 a month. Mm-hmm. And no, we don't particularly love it. It was our first home, but we've been out of it for so long, and it's almost like he can't stomach that we probably will have to pay quite a bit of money.
So what's the house worth, the rental?
The house right now is worth about $530, and we owe about $220.
Okay, all right. And so you're going to walk out with $300,000. We'll call it. Okay, not quite, yeah, but somewhere in that
not
range.
Quite,
and
right.
the balance on your mortgage is what?
$225.
Okay. So by the time you pay capital gains and expenses to sell the house, you pay off your home. You're going to have a little left, but not much.
So I'm sorry. Our home that we live in now, we only owe $120.
Oh! I thought you said $225. Okay, $225 is the rental. You were correcting the $220. Now I'm catching on. Okay.
Yeah, just $120.
Yeah,
and it's worth like $700.
Yeah. And let's say $300. Let's call it $250 after some taxes and $120. So you would have $130, $125 or whatever left over to do some other things with, give or take. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
Here's the thing. Let's pretend for a second a good decision-making tool that I use in our house, Sharon and I use this all the time, is if it was already done, would we undo it? Meaning sunk cost analysis is what it's called. Okay, and this comes from the Harvard Investment Newsletter, where the teacher in the investment class would say, if you ever use what you paid for something as your reason for keeping it, then that's using the wrong analysis. And the class was taught to yell out sunk costs. The only reason you keep something is that you like what it's going to do in the future, not how we got here. Okay? That's a proper analysis of an investment, but it's also the proper analysis of possessions. Okay? And so if I'm looking at a boat in my driveway that I haven't put in the lake in 4 years, and it's worth $10,000, and I say to myself, if I had $10,000 piled in the middle of the table instead of that boat, would I go buy that boat? And the answer is, since I don't use the boat anymore, would obviously be no, right? So that tells me it's time to sell the boat. That's a sunk cost analysis. If I didn't have the boat and I had the money instead, which is what happens if you sell it, then would I go buy the boat? And in my case, we have boats and we use them every summer. We love to ski. We're a lake family. And so if you said, if I didn't have that boat, and I had that money, would I go buy that boat? And I'm like, yeah, I sure would. Then I don't need to sell my boat because that means I like it, is what we're saying. So let's reverse this and say your house is paid off. This is to your husband. Okay, your house is paid off. You have $120,000 in a checking account to do renovations with, go on a trip with, or whatever it is you described a while ago you were going to do with the extra. If that were the case and you had the opportunity to buy this property that you currently own and you didn't own it, but you had the opportunity to buy it and put down, you'd borrow money on your house, you take the money out of your checking account, and you go buy this house to put down $300,000 on it, $250,000 on it, and we're going to have a $500 cash flow, and this is the house we own. Would you do that? And his answer is going to be no.
He's shaking his head right now. You nailed it. That's what you did.
He's shaking his head what?
He's shaking his head. You're right. He wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, he wouldn't go buy it because the only reason he's keeping it is not because he's in love with the future of it. He just doesn't want to give the government any money because he hates them, and I agree. Okay, but I get the emotion, but that's not the reason for keeping the house. The reason for keeping the house is it makes a better future for us. And nowhere in your description of why he wanted to keep the house was that. That's how I knew he would sell it. So it's sold. And the only bad part about this conversation, Angie, is you win. You set us up, and you still won, and we knew we were set up.
We all win, Mr. Ramsey.
Good call.
Especially my husband.
Yeah, you totally used us, and you still won, and we knew it was happening. So this was a great experience. We're so glad you called.
Oh, thank you, guys. I love you both. Thank you so much.
We love you, darling. Thank you for calling.
That was good.
Mark is with us in Knoxville. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Mr. Ramsey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I had an uncle pass away, and I was notified that I have a beneficiary IRA in my name.
An inherited IRA.
Or I'm like, yeah. I was just looking at the paper. Yeah. And for it's around $56,000, and so I was just calling to see what I should do with it. I talked with the person there, and they said, I'll be taxed. I can leave it in there. It'll grow tax-free for 10 years, but then after that, I'm required to take the money out, and then it'll be taxed.
No, it's not exactly true. It has to be liquidated. Okay. It has to be liquidated 10% a year for 10 years.
Gotcha.
Okay, an inherited IRA, you have 10 years to undo it, and you have to do it 10% a year. So $5,600 each year for 10 years comes out and is taxed. That is the longest you can leave it in. You can also just take it all out today and pay the taxes. How old are you?
26.
What do you make?
I make about I'm on contract now, but 110
Good
grand
for you.
a
What do
year.
you do?
I'm a software developer.
Good for you. Okay. Well, we want to honor your uncle's memory and what a wonderful legacy that he's left to you, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
So are you asking what you should do with it?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I didn't know, because I didn't know from taxes, should I just leave it and let it grow in there and take that minimum, like you said, that I have to take out per year and let it grow? Or is it cash out, just cash out everything? What?
Yeah. Do you have any debt?
No, I don't.
Good for you.
Very good.
Okay. Do you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses?
Yeah, I do.
Good for you. You're doing good, man. Well, I would make sure that the money is invested in good growth stock mutual funds and learn about those. Sit down with an investment advisor. If you need one, you can find them at a SmartVestor Pro that we recommend at RamseySolutions.com, clicking on SmartVestor Pro. And then I would leave it. You're going to be required to move 10% out a year for 10 years and be taxed on it. But I'd leave it, let the government, keep the government's hand off of it as long as I can. This is The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. All right, folks, you got a lot of questions this time of year about taxes. We have agreed that we are ultimately hate them, but we got to pay them because it's the law, and we don't break the law. So there you go. Let's unpack a question from one of our listeners. Would Ramsey Smart Tax software give me a lower tax bill than TurboTax? I doubt it. I wouldn't count on it to give you a lower tax bill. Tax software is tax software. The only difference is what you pay for it and how easy it is to use. It should give you, assuming both of them are reasonably written software, that they should both give you a similar result. Ramsey Smart Tax is powered by a company called TaxSlayer, who's been around for over 50 years, and you can count on the software to be accurate and up to date. I think TurboTax will be accurate and up to date. It's a little wacky, a little wonky to use, and it's one of the reasons we did Smart Tax, because it's owned by Intuit, which is Rocket Mortgage and QuickBooks and lots and lots and lots and lots of credit cards.
Yeah.
So their whole reason for doing TurboTax is to try to get your name and use it to sell you debt products. Mm-hmm. So obviously Ramsey Smart Tax is not going to do that. It's just a simple software. You pay a few bucks and you do your taxes. It's no big deal. But I think the tax, even though TurboTax is the evil empire, we're also going to not say lies about them in that I think their tax software is fine. I think it does a reasonably good job, and I don't think you're going to find anything particularly different about it in terms of the result. Like, do I get a higher refund with Ramsey? No, I don't think so. Not if both of them are operating properly.
Yeah.
They should do that. So RamseySolutions.com/SmartTax if you don't want to be shoveled debt products while you're trying to do your thing. The other thing is all the forms are included and there's no like upcharge gotchas. You want some fries with that? You want some fries with that? We don't do that. The thing just works and you pay one fee and you get it. It's real simple, real clean. RamseySolutions.com/SmartTax if you want to just keep your life simple. But yeah, both are accurate. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Vicky is in Las Vegas. Hi, Vicky. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
I am wondering, my husband and I both have long-term care insurance. And recently I got a letter saying that I could increase the benefit for an additional charge for my premium. It doesn't seem significant on either, and I just wondered what your feeling was. Do you just stick with the long-term policy that you have? I mean, it's with the same company, but every 3 years they send you this offer. I turned it down the last 3 years, so if I turn it down this time, they won't offer it to me again.
Okay. So how much is your coverage?
We have 3 years, and it's about $61,000 a year, so just a little over $180,000.
Have you shopped around and looked at long-term care, nursing home, or whatever process you're going to use, and can you do that for $60,000 in your area?
No, you cannot. It seems to me like it would be like the max they pay a day is $165,000, and it seemed to me like it was going to be more like.
It was going to be what?
250.
No. I'm talking about per year.
No, I think it'd be closer to about 80,000.
Okay, so you have 60,000. You have 60,000 per year for 3 years, and you think it's going to take 80,000 per year for 3 years.
Right, but the increase that they're offering is only an extra $17 a day.
Okay.
So it's not significant, and then it costs an extra $20 a month on the policy.
Okay, all right. And do you have any money?
We have, our home is worth about $900,000, and we have about $700,000 in mutual funds.
Good for you.
And we
well
have
done.
we have pension and Social Security that adds up to about $120,000 a year. So really, we don't need our money.
So here's the thing. Okay, here's your way you pose the question back to yourself, and it'll tell you what to do.
Okay.
Do I want to take $20,000 a year worth of risk for 3 years, $60,000 total exposure? Because it's going to take 80, but you got 60 coverage, right?
Right.
Do I want to take a $60,000 exposure for $20 a month and get rid of some of it, or do I want to, with my $700,000, be very comfortable that I can cover that 60?
Okay.
You don't take the increase. You self-insure it with the 700 because you're not taking that much risk relative to the size of your nest egg.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, you really could self-insure the whole thing if you wanted to drop it.
Well, I've been on the fence about it, but thank you for saying that because I've just not known what to do, so I've kept it.
Yeah, it's okay to keep it, but I would not increase it. But, so again, what would you be taking on? The typical nursing home stay in America is 2.5 years. That's the national average.
Right.
And, so your exposure's 3 years at 80,000, $240,000. So if Papa goes into the nursing home, you end up with $500,000 when the smoke clears. If you self-insure through this on average. Now, it could go higher, but if it goes higher, you run out of coverage anyway because you've only got 3 years of coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So it's taking the edge off by having the policy, but I would not give them another dime for any more coverage. I think you're in good shape financially. By the way, you're millionaires. You did a great job,
Very
Vicki.
good.
Great work. Paul's with us in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Paul, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call. Really appreciate it.
Sure. How can we help?
All right, I got a how much house would you buy question. We're moving from Omaha to the Pacific Northwest to be closer to family. And we've got a total, including our retirements, which this last year I converted all into Roth. We got about $600K that we could spend. That would take us down to no retirement and just our 6-month emergency fund. And the question that I have is, how much of that would you spend on a house?
Are you talking about draining your retirement to pay cash for a house?
Potentially some of it. It's a question. So right now, like almost all of that is basically Roth principal because of the conversion this last year.
How old are you guys?
So I can take, I'm 34, my wife's 31.
So you're going to be penalized too.
Because of the Roth conversion and because it's all principal, we could take it without the penalties. Almost all of it.
What's your household income?
Let's call it 120.
How much of the 600 is the Roth?
Total, and that's about it's about 135 right now.
Okay, so you got 450,000 that's not in retirement.
Correct.
Okay.
That's available to you. The $450 that's left, if you can take it without penalty, and then leave the other $135.
It's so the place that we're moving to, it's got a pretty wide range of houses that you can buy there. Anything from, your $250,000 serious need of fixing up,
right,
to your $1 million plus home.
That would be true in every city.
I mean, the fact of the matter is you can only buy what you can afford, right? So that's kind of that's what your parameters got to be. And of course, we would say to pick something that's on a 15-year fixed rate where the income is no more than 25% of your take-home pay. So those are the parameters we're working in. I wouldn't touch the 135K principal. I would just use the 450. And if you want to save a little bit longer to have more, save longer.
Put $450 down as a minimum. It'd be nice to buy a $450,000 house, just pay cash. That'd be choice one.
Yeah.
Choice two is don't take out a mortgage. It's more than a fourth of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed with $450 down. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. Look, if you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.
From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Cece is in Indianapolis. Hi, Cece. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking the call. About 2 years ago, we paid off our house, and as of May 2022, we have the $1 million net worth.
Yay!
But I'll be honest with you, I'm more fearful now than when we were broke. I'm not sure what to do with this stuff. I know that we have about $430,000 in cash spread across 3 banks, and we have $650,000 in our house, which we are selling in May, and then we are taking off for about 1.5 to 2 years sabbatical. So I don't know where to park this stuff. I'm fearful of banks. I'm fearful of, there is a little bit of inheritance in there. So I have that pressure of I'm the 3rd generation, so I don't want to mess that up. And some of our money came from real estate investments, but I want out of that because I don't want the responsibility of it when we're gone. So I don't know what to do.
How much money do you still have in real estate?
Just the house.
Just the one?
Well, just our personal house now.
So right now, at the end of the story, you've got $1 million in cash, is what you're saying, and you got to decide what to do with it while you take 1.5 years off.
Yeah, and I could potentially, honestly, all of that is outside of, in addition to, we still have my dad's house. So either A, I could end up buying my portion and buying my brother out, or my brother could buy me out. So there's another swing of money.
How much would it take to buy him out?
$200,000 to buy him out, or obviously $200,000 to me. So really, honestly, I have closer to $1.2 million or more.
Yeah.
So I don't have a clue what to do.
Okay. Well, the only thing that's concerning me here is all of your fear, because fear is one of two things. Okay, there's one of two things that fear comes from. All right, fear is either a reasonable reaction to an actual threat. Don't touch a hot stove. That'll hurt. That's good fear, right? Don't run in the traffic. That's good fear. Okay, mm-hmm. Don't eat poison. That's good fear. Hello. So that's all good things. Then there's false evidence appearing real. There's fear of the unknown brought on by I don't understand something, so I'm afraid of it. I've never ridden a bicycle, so I'm afraid of bicycles. I never learned to swim, and so I'm afraid of swimming. But neither one kill you on a regular instance. You can die on a bicycle or swimming, but they don't. It's not like swallowing rat poison. Okay, it's like 100% fatality rate. The bicycles are not, right? You see what I'm saying? So, but the fear that a child feels the first time they go in to swim is a fear based on the unknown, ignorance of the process, not based on the actual threat. You see the difference?
Yes.
And I think that's the one you're struggling with.
Okay.
I think you're afraid to put money in the stock market. You're afraid to put money in the banks because you've built up this boogeyman thing going on that's really not there. I've got money in banks and I'm not afraid. I don't think my bank is going to fail. It has nothing to do with SVB. But I've got money in the stock market in mutual funds, millions of dollars. And I am not even, my pulse rate is not even changed.
Okay.
Except maybe a little bit of excitement every now and then. But anyway, so when you bought your home, an example of that is there were no guarantees when you bought the home. There was not a federal guarantee against a loss, but you were not afraid because you were comfortable with your knowledge of the real estate market just because you had walking around sense. You didn't have to be a real estate expert. You just old enough to go, man, I remember when houses sold for X and now they're selling for Y, and real estate's just solid and I can be in real estate. So you're comfortable with that one because you're comfortable with the history and the track record and your knowledge of it. So I don't want you to put put your money in something that causes you to lose sleep. But if you put $1 million aside in good mutual funds, and if it makes 7%, 8%, 10%, you got $70,000 or $100,000 a year to live off of and not touch your $1 million while you're on sabbatical.
So how do I go about, I don't know anything about mutual funds. My son is saying the same thing, and he is in the stock market a little bit, but he's so young and inexperienced that I just can't take.
He's not trustworthy enough to give you cause your fear to leave. Not because he's a bad guy, but he's just a neophyte.
No, right. Well, and he's good at but he's only been doing it for a year or two, so that's not enough for me.
Okay, what I want you to do.
So what do I do?
I want you to get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros, and that's why we tell you to work with people with the heart of a teacher. And I want you to tell them what you're struggling with. And say, you've got to teach me enough about the history of a mutual fund. Give me a few mutual fund examples. There's some really good brochures out on mutual funds that show the history and show the stability. And, once you study those for an hour, if you can do sixth grade math, you're going to be going, oh my gosh, I get it.
Okay. So do you think I should put all of it? Am I hearing you say put all of it while I'm running around?
Only if you can get comfortable.
Okay.
I don't want you on a sabbatical in freak out mode.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What does it take you guys to live a year while you're in the sabbatical?
Oh my gosh, it's so cheap. It's probably $30,000.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you put $1 million in a couple of banks, 5 banks and 4 banks, and spread it around where you've got the FDIC coverage, and you make nothing, but you sleep and you have a good sabbatical, and you pull $30,000 out to eat on, whoop-de-doop-de. That's okay. I would rather you do that than invest in mutual funds only because Dave and Jade said so.
Okay.
I want you to study. Now, so get in touch with a SmartVestor Pro, begin learning, but only if you can get enough knowledge like you do about real estate. And it's not like you got to go get an MBA in finance. You just got to learn the history of these things. So, and ask the SmartVestor Pro to give you a brochure. There's a wonderful brochure on Investment Company of America, ICA. as an example. It'll teach you some of the history. It's one of the best brochures on mutual funds I've seen. And it's a good mutual fund too, but ask them to give you the American Funds ICA brochure. This is the Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us, America. Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is our co-host today. This is the Ramsey Show. It's a show about your life, your relationships, your careers, and your money. Catherine's with us in Baltimore, Maryland. Hi, Catherine. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
Well, so we started attacking our debt snowball in earnest 2 months ago. And to do that, we're selling a rental property my husband brought into our marriage. The equity would wipe out a big chunk of our debt. The issue is we let the renters know at the beginning of this month we weren't going to renew their lease, and they've stopped all communications. They've got 2 months before the lease terminates because they get 90 days notice. And our lawyer let us know that really the only thing we can do is file for a formal eviction. But it could take 3 weeks to 4 months, and the lease just might expire before it goes through. And so I guess my question really is, do we go forward with an eviction process and the fees since we're planning to sell the property anyway? Should we eat the lost payments? I think my biggest concern is that, if the renters are already acting in bad faith, that if we bring legal action, they'll not only stop paying rent, but they'll, trash the place, and then we have to pay repairs and stuff. So
how much is the monthly rent?
It's $1,500.
Okay. And so they're going to be $4,500 into you by the time this is up.
Yeah.
And how much of a deposit do you have?
We have 1 month, so we have a $1,500 deposit.
Okay. So they're going to be $3,000 into you.
Yeah.
Okay. The lawyer that you talked to, how many evictions has he done this year?
2, which is why he said that
he's done 2 this year?
Well, he's saying that he's had 2 that have finished proceedings start to finish this year, which is why, because when we asked how long it would take, he said it would go 3 weeks to 4 months.
So he does this regularly, but is not successful.
I don't know. We asked the attorney who helped us draw up the lease paperwork. So I don't know that he does a lot of eviction. I think he just generally does rental property, general law.
That's kind of what I was thinking. So what we need is a lawyer who makes his living or her living doing evictions.
Okay.
They're a little meaner than the one you talked to.
Okay.
You need one that is a little nastier. That's going to put the fear of God in said renter, because said renter has decided they're a thief because they got their little girl feelings hurt, little boy feelings hurt. And said renter is not owning up to a contract. And contract law is still good, even in Maryland.
Yeah. I guess my question is just is it worth it for $3,000? Okay.
Yes.
Do not let them steal from you.
Because here's the thing. If you continue to play from a hand of weakness, they're going to completely strip this house.
Okay.
Instead, if you knock the crap out of them, they're going to be afraid of you, which is the way this ought to be.
I'm not very scary, Dave. I'm not going to lie.
But your lawyer can be.
I think you hire the hit job here. It's called a lawyer. Okay. You contract out the hit. Metaphorically speaking.
My husband that we're hiring a hitman.
Metaphorically speaking, yeah. If you're going to hire a lawyer that does evictions, they have to know how to get all up in somebody's face. It's part of the process. Because what you've got is you've got adults that are throwing a little hissy fit over here, and we're going to have to teach them how the law works.
Okay.
And if you just ignore this as an act of weakness or an act of avoid confrontation, you're going to get what you're going to get. They're going to take you out. They're going to keep your $3,000. They're probably going to sue you for the deposit just because they think they can. Because these people are not bright.
Ooh, don't let them try it. Do not let them try it, Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is worth $1,000 to give them a hard time.
Mm.
Oh, and by the way, your lease probably says you get to add that to their bill. Probably says attorney's fees are added to the bill.
Yeah.
Most good leases do in most states.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's in there.
this is not vengeance. I don't do good with adults having hissy fits.
Okay.
And just going, I'm just going to walk on the contract just because I don't like it. Well, I don't care, you little wuss. You get to pay your rent. You signed up big girls and big boy paperwork. And so this is how this works. God, that makes me mad. I don't like thieves.
Yeah.
This is a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you do what you want to do. I've been doing rental property a long, long time. We're never mean to people. We're never unkind to people. But we do have lawyers do it.
Sure.
If they are misbehaving and stealing stuff and, they decide they're going to do drugs and the dadgum drug enforcement surrounding my house that I own because I got a druggie in there, we're not going to do this. This is not what we do. So you get to move. And we're going to have somebody help you do that since you don't have sense enough to do it on your own and do this with class. They signed a contract that allows you to end it at 90 days from today. All you did was do what you said you were going to do on the paperwork. You've done nothing wrong. You were not unkind to them. You did not violate their rights. You didn't do anything wrong. They're just having a fit. And they hadn't paid their bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really, really, really do need to lean on them. I don't know if you follow it all the way through or not, but you at least need to represent that you're going to, because that puts them back on their heels where right now you're on your heels and you're the one in the right. So I don't like dealing with lawyers. I don't like dealing with any of this stuff. I don't choose the fight, but these people chose to not pay their bill. And sometimes we have to have a judge remind people how things work. That's why we have judges. And I hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't ever seek that out.
Right.
But, oh, my gosh. Whew. It is a matter of posturing, and your guy you talk to is a wuss. You don't need to use him.
Yeah, she needs to get more of a pit bull.
Sometimes you need to hire an attorney that you don't even like. Brett's with us in Atlanta. Hey, Brett, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Jade. I love your show. Listen to your YouTube channel almost daily. So thank you for taking my call.
Thanks. How can we help?
Yeah, so I plan on buying another investment property with cash within the next year or two. So I've been saving up. So right now I have $83,000 cash currently sitting in a high-yield savings account at 4%.
Very cool.
And I plan on saving another $50,000 over the next few months.
Good for you.
So with that said, thank you. With that said, I want to make sure I am maximizing the return with the cash that I have just sitting there. I'm used to investing. I'm used to getting a mortgage and doing investment property, so I'm doing it a little bit different this time. So I have a lot of cash. What is the best thing to do with it? Right now, 4% is good, but it's not great. I don't want to invest it because I'm going to use it within the next year or two. So what should I do?
4% is a parking fee. You're parking the money. If you invest the money and don't park it, you make more, but you take more risk, as you just said. So if I'm you, I'm parking it. Because the money that you're going to have for this is not coming from your return on investment. It's coming from you putting money in the account.
Correct.
You're the secret sauce, not the investment. If you make 10% rather than 4% over 2 months, that amounts to like 3% difference. It's nothing. I mean, 3% on $100,000. This does not $2,000. You're not within $2,000 of doing your deal here. Your deal is a $150,000 deal.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yeah, I do.
So your return on investment here is not going to make this happen or keep this from happening. I wouldn't. I would just leave it in the market if I were in your shoes.
Got it. Cool.
You see what you understand why I'm doing that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, Brett, people like that think like you and I think, because we're math nerds, we look for something to fix the investment, and sometimes the thing that fixes the investment is you. You're the one that's doing the investing. You're the one putting the money in the account, not the investment. And so don't try to fix it. Just pile up money, go do it. Pile up money, go do it. This is The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Lots of live events going on all around America right now, including the inaugural event at the new Ramsey Event Center. We are just moving in. It was just finished literally this week. And the first public event will be the SMART Conference, April 14th and 15th. It's going to be a blast. All the Ramsey personalities, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, George Camel, Christina Ellis, Jade Warshaw, all going to join me as we kick off this event. It's a 2-day event or a day-and-a-half event. So here's the deal. We're going to broadcast this show from that stage for a live studio audience of several hundred. If you want to come to that, you can. Let us know you'd like to come, whether you're coming to Smart Conference or not. But if you're coming to Smart Conference, come in early, be part of that. And then there'll be a few-hour break where you go get some dinner when this is over. And then that evening, we're going to have the Smart Money Happy Hour.
Yay!
To kick off the Smart Conference weekend, Friday evening. Followed by some country music icons. There's a couple of them around here in Nashville, if you hadn't heard. They're going to come hang out with us, so we'll have a little Nashville experience from the stage of the Ramsey Event Center, inaugural weekend on Friday night. And then all day Saturday, we're going to be teaching.
Cool.
It's going to be a blast and going to have a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. It's almost sold out. There's just about like 52 tickets or something like that left. Tickets, the only ones left are general admission. They're $119 for that whole thing.
Wow, that's great.
It's a deal.
Yeah.
RamseySolutions.com/events, and you'll get the inaugural ticket so you can have the memory of being at the very first event that ever occurs, and you get to be part of that experience, and we're pretty pumped about it around here, I can just tell you. Mm-hmm. So a couple of Building Wealth live events in Anaheim and in Salt Lake City left this spring here in April and May. Check those out at RamseySolutions.com/events. Money and Marriage event in the fall with Dr. John Deloney and Rachel Cruz. That is on sale. I think it's about half sold out already. I think it's an October date. So check that out. Ken Coleman is coming to 4 cities to do his career get clear assessment process and sit with small groups of 300-500.
Yeah.
They're not going to be large events, little 300 to 500 events, and going to be a lot of Q&A. And so we're everywhere, you guys. We are all over the place. Career Breakthrough, that's what that event's called.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, and so you can check these out in all the different cities, all this stuff at RamseySolutions.com/events. All right, Jeff's with us in Miami. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for taking my call. I listen to you guys all the time, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. How can we help?
So my question is, I just found out from my current employer that they are changing the administrator of our 401k retirement plan. And my question was, when I looked through the new investment options in the upcoming plan, most of my investments, my mutual funds don't transfer over. So probably about 80% of my portfolio. So my question is, should I move this all into cash before the blackout happens and then reallocate? Should I let these just transfer directly into the new equivalent funds? My concern was some of these I've held for 4 or 5 years, bought at lower market prices, and I'm going to be basically forced to sell them. Or maybe I'm overthinking this. So just wondered what you thought.
Okay, if you sell them and there's a profit, there's no tax because it moves just into another mutual fund. So there's no loss. You don't lose anything.
Right.
You don't lose anything.
That's true. I figured when I change to the new fund, though, I'm buying it all at the current market price, so I lose some of the
But you're
shares
you're selling at the current market price.
Yeah, that's true. That's correct.
So assuming they're equivalent funds, it's a break even.
Okay.
If you're moving into a substandard fund, that's a different issue, but there's no loss just due to the transaction.
Right. That's correct. I need to probably look at the equivalent funds in more detail, but so you're saying essentially just let them transfer over, let that occur. And
I would try to select the funds, and it sounds like you may know what we're going to say, where you pick a fund that has the longest possible track record. I love a minimum of a 5-year track record. I love a 10 or a 20-year track record on an old-time mutual fund. Got a little gray hair in it, in other words. Right. And, that long track record gives me a lot of comfort, and I'm obviously picking something that's beating the S&P 500. Otherwise, I'm dumping it into an S&P.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm sorry.
If you don't have anything that beats the S&P, you dump it in the S&P, right?
Yep. No, that makes sense. The one fund that actually transfers over is an S&P 500. The next fund that actually had my largest amount in. So
yeah, I mean that's a mid cap fund or a standard growth fund. It just happens to follow the index. And so, but a standard growth fund should be performing about the same way. It might not have the exact same portfolio mix, but should be performing about the same way. So,
got it.
How large a company?
We're a medium-sized company, probably 2,500 employees.
Okay. What do you do there?
It's construction management, building.
What do you do there?
I'm involved with technology and project management.
So the upper half of the food chain.
Definitely, we're a general contractor.
No, you are in this 2,500. You're not an entry level, but you're also not a senior leader.
That's correct.
Okay. So, but I mean, what I was thinking is you drop in the CFO's office or the HR director's office, whoever made this decision, if you don't like the options, and go, hey, could we pull some of these other funds in? Because there's some good funds y'all didn't put in here.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And what I was trying to figure out is if you had enough influence to pull that off.
It sounds like I don't know. It sounds probably not. It sounds like the decision's been made because we only have 30
No, the new
days
administrator can choose the fund selection. Your HR director can direct the new administrator on to add funds as options.
I gotcha. So definitely let them know what I think.
Yeah, and so like if you got a XYZ fund in your current mix that you love, has a long track record, has performed like a beast, and it's not in the new one, go in there and go, hey, look at this. Would you add this one? This one's killing it.
Gotcha.
They may want it for themselves, I mean, I would, so that kind of thing. But, I actually had some people come into our funds, our 401k funds, and say, look, that fund over there is misbehaving. They're doing this, this, and this. And I went, oh, crap, you're right. And we axed it. We axed them. We took it out of our options because they were screwing around with stuff they shouldn't be screwing around with. And trying to virtue signal instead of actually running a mutual fund. And so we dumped them. And but it was based on a team member's suggestion, but it was a team member that had influence, obviously.
Keyword influence.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't somebody got hired 3 weeks ago at an entry-level position. It was, that kind of thing. So it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, we listen to anybody, but the more weight you can swing on it. So it's not a big deal to add, for your administrator to add funds or to take away funds, change the selection mix if they want. And, you can ask. It doesn't cost anything to ask. Good stuff.
That is a good question. So he said that some of the funds were equivalent and some of them weren't. So for the ones that are equivalent, is that just an automatic roll through?
Well, in other words, I've got a good international. Mm-hmm. Is there a good international over there? Mm-hmm. If there is, it's an equivalent. You just move from international to international. Mm-hmm. I've got a good aggressive growth stock mutual fund, and there's a good aggressive growth stock mutual fund over there.
Yeah.
That's an equivalent. Then by good, I mean long track record, performing above the index, and so I can move it over there and not have any. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's just I just got a Chevrolet rather than a Ford, but they're both good trucks, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of a thing, and that's what we're looking at. But what happens is sometimes people just pick. Sometimes mutual fund people are like they follow the fads of something somebody's yakking about in that nerd world, instead of actually looking at stuff with soul and long track record and gritty and that kind of stuff. And so sometimes you just point it out and you go, no, we're going to go over here. Oh, okay. They don't really they don't die on that hill very often. Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 4:25 and 27. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the path. Stay on the safe path. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. Francis Bacon said, fortitude and the power of fixing attention are two marks of a great mind. Ooh, the ability to focus and stick with it. Wow. Scott is with us. Scott's in Pensacola, Florida. Hey, Scott, how can we help?
Hey, I'm wanting to know about bringing my credit score up. I haven't financed anything in 15 years at least, or owned a credit card in 15 years at least. I'm 59. My credit score is a 0 as of last week. I looked it up. And I have just a little bit of money. I mean, just a couple of $1,000s in savings. I just went recently unemployed. I'm probably going to be making about $500 a week. As self-employed, my wife makes about $650 a week. After tax, we have a house that's we owe about $50 on it. It's worth about $220, $230. Needs some work. I can do all the work. Sweat equity. Because I did remodels for 25 years, and I want to get that credit score up so I can buy property eventually.
Why? You've done so good for so long without a credit score. Why can't you just save up and pay cash for the property that you want? Because at this point, you don't want to borrow.
Well, I mean, I could do something like owner finance of a house about to fall down, do all the work and sweat equity and not have to pay for that enormous labor bill on it, is the one thing I'm wanting. I want to buy some old houses and flip houses and find owner finance. And with a little money down, the thing. I had an idea of borrowing small loans against my savings and paying them off and getting out of 0. At least I can. I figure within a year.
Okay, let's stop a second. Okay, you're new to this process around Ramsey, and I appreciate you calling. Yep. And we'd love to try to help you get ahead. So, what we have learned, Scott, and what we teach folks is the most powerful wealth building tool you can have is not borrowed money. It is your income and staying out of debt. My credit score, Scott, is 0. I don't have one either. And so, because I don't borrow money ever, I don't want those people in my life ever again. Life is too short to let banks speak into my life and own sections of who I am. And so I'm going to recommend that you don't do flips with borrowed money. The number of people that do flips with borrowed money and are not bankrupt within 5 years is very small. The vast majority of people who do flips with borrowed money go bankrupt. It's a mythology. Yeah. Now, can you get into the real estate business? Yeah, but you're probably going to have to improve your career and get your income up. You're not making any money.
Well, my idea was to find people who, when I say a loan, that would invest in to put up the money, invest.
You don't need a credit score for that.
Yeah. Okay.
You need a credit score if you're dealing with some stupid butt bank. And and the only way to get a credit score is borrow money so that you can borrow money. Why? So you can borrow money. Why? So you can borrow money. Why? So it sounds like we're supporting the banks when we keep a credit score open, because we are.
Right.
So I'm going to advise you to do your deals without going into debt. And if you bring in somebody with you, like a money player, like you're talking about, give them a piece of the profits, and you don't have any payments with them, and you don't have a credit score. So let's say you go find a house that is worth $200,000, but it's all to pieces, and you can buy it for $100,000. Okay.
Right.
Your money guy puts up the $100,000 and puts up some money for materials, and you go do all the work. And a year later, you sell it for the $200,000, and you and the money guy split the money. But in the meantime, you don't have any payments.
Right.
Okay, that's an okay deal. I don't mind that deal.
That's what I'm planning on doing eventually.
You don't need a credit score for that. What you need is a deal and a money guy that wants to be in a deal.
Okay.
That's the two things you're missing. It's not, I need to go borrow a bunch of money so later I have the opportunity to play kissy face with a stupid bank.
Right.
You don't want to be there, man. You work too hard to get away from them.
Right.
Yeah. And in the meantime, while you're doing all that, I think you need to get your income up too. You're not making any money. So let's get your income up. You have the opportunity to make a lot more than you're making right now. If you poke around out there and there's a different side hustle, different thing to do, there's no reason you can't do all of it at once. But don't go borrowing that $100,000 from that bank and be making payments for 2 years while you finish up this rehab that takes longer than you thought it was going to take, and then it takes longer to sell it than you thought it was going to take. Oh, and then you become motivated because the bank's about to foreclose. Now you become the guy who gives somebody a deal because you're in debt to the bank. This is how that world works. Yeah, these foreclosures eat each other sometimes. So that's what I would do, sir. Thank you for being a new listener. I hope we can continue to serve you. Chance is in Birmingham. Hey, Chance, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon, Dave. How are you?
Great. How can we help?
I was calling to get some guidance from you. I've been following you for years, and you've helped me tremendously. I want to personally thank you for that. I'm debt-free now. However, I am running into an issue where housing prices and interest rates here in my area, in my county, livable houses are at least in the $200,000 range. And I've been working for a while to save up my down payment. However, even to get a down payment large enough to get a 15-year mortgage with a payment that is less than at least less than 25% of my bring home seems to be impossible.
Sounds like your bring home pay is low.
Mm-hmm.
What are you bringing home?
My gross is $70,000. I think after taxes, I bring home around $52,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which that includes health insurance and everything deducted.
Well, yeah, we don't need it. What we're talking about by take-home pay is not a health insurance deduction. It's just simply taxes. Okay.
Gotcha.
So little different take-home pay than you're calculating on, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm looking for some ways to increase my income if I'm you, so that you can get into a house that you like.
Definitely. See, I've been saving for the last year, which I intend to save for the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just afraid that by the time I have enough saved, interest rates and home prices are just going to continue to increase.
Well, I think what Dave was saying is the anecdote for that. If you can get your income up and you continue to save, you're gonna get there eventually. But you've got to do those things combined in order to make that happen. Because here's your other option. Your other option is you stop saving today. And if you stop saving today, then you're never going to get a house. But if you keep saving and you keep trying to drive your income up, then don't you think eventually you'll get there?
Absolutely.
You will. You will. It's just...
If interest rates go to 14, you're not in the market anyway.
Right. True that.
So you're going to wait on them to come back down at that point. So, And I was selling real estate in the 80s when they were 14. And when they were 17. They came down to 14, and we thought it was a deal. But, 6 is really not exactly a hardship compared to history anyway.
I mean, you have to look at your options, and none of them's good. If you stop today, you're not going to have enough money saved. And if you bought a house with what you have today, you're going to be house poor. And that's not an option for you.
Chance, I just want to assure you, you're going to get there.
Yeah, you'll get there.
You're going to get there. You're going to get there. You're going to make it. Don't let the fear of being priced out of the market cause you to do something stupid. Be patient. Get there. Buy something you can afford. Move up later. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you following us. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Austin, Ben, James, Zach, and Andrew, the booth dudes, are pulling it off in the booth. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.